especially when he reached the peak of popularity. And then he is abandoned, by the audience, because he's a Shudra. He enjoys to please the audience. That's where he gets the power from. And then even Mr. Charlie Chaplin made a movie about him being not famous anymore. He was genius. So he's depicting himself as an old fat artist who managed a circus which nobody is attending. And his number is that he's managing a bunch of fleas, a flea circus. You don't see the fleas, actually, but it's his fleas. And they perform a special number, they jump around, but nobody can see. And then he waits for the applause. There's nobody there. This is an artist. So this all in a safe zone. All these ideas, being unique, distinct. And then the amazing thing is when we actually surrender to Srila Prabhupada, and we actually have a team of people who try to surrender to Srila Prabhupada, then everybody is actually very unique. Because look around, how many are doing it? Especially in the Western world. People even say when they come from India, here I can really do something in India. I'm just one of 100,000, with me. I remember there was a temple president syndrome, The whole year, you run around and we had this big operation, and, 40 devotees, 50 devotees, 100 devotees running around, and temple president comes with a car, There was a time here where this was like, you remember that? A little bit, we didn't worship temple president's lotus feet, but I was close, So he came out. Shri Shrapansat. Here is the last link of Parampara. The spirit was, you don't know what I'm talking about, but it was real, it was good. Like, very, he's coming. And then you go to Mahaprabhu. And temple president is condemned. Is conceived. We have 40 devotees in temples. We have restaurants, bookstores, we have big programs. And you come to Mayapur, and you walk around and nobody cares. And then there's other temple presidents, they manage 300 devotees and 500 devotees. And then you go to the temple president meeting and you say, where are you from? Scandinavia. Where is it? I'm from Sweden. Sweden, by Sweden. Oh, you mean up there? Oh my God, I saw there's just elks running around there, And then you go, my kingdom is not recognized. This is all that childish. It's like Brahma, Like Brahma who asked Krishna, you mentioned there are other Brahmas? I'm the Brahma, the master of the universe with 4 heads. Krishna just smiled. And then they all came, one after another, with thousands of heads. Our universe is relatively very small. So, and that's described as they bow down to the sound of this helmet, and it was amazing. It was like a huge truck of pots falling down, just blum, 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 And our Brahma was like in a corner. 4 heads, and they come with 1,000 heads paying no business. You know what the sound this is? With helmets, makes a lot of sense. Now Brahma was like, okay. And when he disappeared, he just came slowly in front of Krishna and simply paid okay. Not much sound, just 4 heads, So this kind of experiences we get sometimes on the way, Don't buy it. Don't think that, I'm so small here, so unrecognized, nobody cares. I have to, I'm a senior Vaishnava now. You also become a senior Vaishnava now. I know Copenhagen, I know where all the prostitutes are. I know Copenhagen, and then you want to make some, there's a crisis around 50 years it comes. You want to make some print on this planet Earth to leave some footprint behind, So I was here. I left a message for the mankind. Usually around this time people write biographies. My life as a hero. Something like that. Just to leave at least a book behind. Yeah, that's how I was. Yes. This is so childish. So what? We forget the real greatness. The real greatness is to be recognized by Krishna. And that's the real greatness. That Krishna takes a notice. He knows anyway. But recognized by Krishna, that takes a special notice. And when Krishna recognizes and takes a special notice of the service of a devotee, the first symptom of this is that you cannot go back to Maya. Even you try, not possible. So that's actually the real greatness. Krishna recognizes, and that will be visible when we are leaving this body. If we are leaving bodies usually in some traumatic state, that indicates that there is something to be paid still. But I even witness devotees leaving bodies, you wouldn't expect that even. In a very peaceful way, suddenly such a peace spread around him, left the body. And you wouldn't think this is a very advanced devotee, right? But he was recognized. And that's the ultimate thing. Srila Prabhupada could have died right away there on a boat. Who would know? Who would notice? Nothing. His godfathers didn't care. His family didn't care. So who would notice? Did Prabhupada go to the West to become famous? For sure he won't. Because he was really surprised when the fame came. Honestly surprised. He had only one thought in his mind. To do the last thing, to search his spiritual master. To finally come to the point to act on his instruction only, like on his mission. Prabhupada always followed the instruction in terms of conducting Krishna consciousness. But the ultimate instruction, to go and preach and to the English-speaking people, he didn't do it really. So when he finally came to it, he said even, these books I had in his trunks, if I would just distributed that and died, I was thinking at least something is done. But the Zun Krishna opened a new possibility. Prabhupada would immediately give. This is what we should learn actually. Should not be megalomaniac in our outlook, but we should be open when some new opportunity comes, not to miss it. Therefore, Prabhupada never lost the focus. This is an amazing thing. He never lost the focus on the small man, on the detail, while simultaneously actually accepting the grand scheme Krishna, opened for him. Therefore, Prabhupada, it was an amazing mixture. I mean, I don't know how I would put it in some analogy, in some example, it's like a president of the country exits the limousine, surrounded by bodyguards, while he goes for the world meeting of the leaders of the world, and suddenly he stops, turns around, and there's this crowd cheering, and he goes to a small girl and said, "Your shoes are too small, I hope you can walk in them." Something like this, This was shocking. Prabhupada, while the Hare Krishna movement vocabulary exploded into his face, never forgot the little devotee sitting there, trying to do whatever he can. We saw that some of his leaders did that mistake. When they grew big along the movement, that means actually they became very prominent personalities. They kind of didn't bother with the small people anymore. I guess all the devotees experience that feeling, to be ignored. So what? With you? You know, Prabhupada never did that. Even a smallest service. You know, I remember I met one Indian, never met him again. Once in Stockholm he came. And he was completely excited about Prabhupada. He was never initiated, he never became member of ISKCON really. But he said, I heard Prabhupada. You know, Prabhupada actually, I had darshan with Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, he had a little problem here. There was here on the cheek a little thing growing, like a wart, you know, like, you know, we have sometimes in the skin little thing growing out like this.
Mole.
Yeah, it's a little thing. It can grow out something like this. Skin, you know. It's connected, but it's maybe uncomfortable. So this man said, I can help you. I can help you. You know, so he brought a horsehair, long horsehair, and he tied it very tight. So he cut off actually the bloodstream, and that thing naturally fell off. That was his service to Prabhupada. And that was the only thing he ever did probably for Prabhupada in his lifetime. But he never forgot. He still, while talking this to me like this, he was completely in ecstasy and how grateful Prabhupada was, and he sent him to help me like this. And he was completely, you know. You see, this is of course the beauty of Vapu, that you have this ability, or you have this opportunity to serve pure devotee that close and that personal. So that man's Krishna consciousness was stuck to this one memory. But when we want to have Prabhupada more available in the broader terms, then we have to get to the point of Vani, to really understand that he is no different from his instruction. And that's what the team comes about. That's a long-lasting team. Okay, constantly struggling. It's not as Stefan saying. You have to constantly review. You know, where is this coming from? Who is teaching this? Why this? Is it Prabhupada? Did Prabhupada say that? Sometimes you may even follow a course, or in some details you can say, start to deviate. And then suddenly Krishna sends an information. Hey, this is not a good way to go. You go, oh, you have to correct, you know. It's a life process. Therefore, we, in that regard, we actually cannot be peaceful. We have to be on guard, but a peaceful guard. We have to at least be that much rooted in Srila Prabhupada's teachings that we cannot be endangered on a basic level. But there's always so much to learn. Prabhupada said about this, and Prabhupada said about that, and how Prabhupada preached, and there's things we can learn from him, and there's things we cannot learn. It was really just Prabhupada, you know. Can you imagine? I just read a few minutes ago a letter Prabhupada goes, you know, the movement was alive 2 years, 2.5 years, and it expanded to such a degree that Prabhupada writes to the devotee, you understand that I got now the opportunity, I ordered from India a large amount of mridangas and kabels, but we don't have enough devotees to play these mridangas and kabels. Therefore it's your duty to attract more new devotees and open new centers so we can use this instrument. What a preaching, you know. Prabhupada said, no, there's so many mridangas here. Somebody has to play it. So go out and make some devotees. They did that. These mridangas definitely got used. What a preaching. Yeah. Just imagine, we would assume to do something like this. Hey, let's order 50 mridangas from India, so we have 50 new bhaktas. In Prabhupada's presence, nothing was impossible. He never took a no for an answer. So everybody felt like, well, if he can do it, I can, we have to do it too. Because Prabhupada, after all, started from nothing. Nobody helped him. So, I cannot answer the question like this in any other way as any definition of a team is, where's Prabhupada? That's the team leader, okay? And whoever comes close to it, that's the team. Whoever is inventing his own thing, sorry. And it starts with changing vocabulary, and usually behind that is a concept to appear in a very distinct light. You know, I want to call Lokanath Maharaj. He goes, I don't understand. When I joined, there was no Bhakta program. And so many devotees came. No, we had a fancy Bhakta program, there's nobody joining. You know, he said it in front of me. And I was like, yeah, actually, he's right, you know. You know. He said, Bhakta program? You just join and watch the old ones what they are doing and then follow the instruction and learn it from them. That's all. Actually, essentially, it's what Bhakta program is. You know, the Bhakta program without the Bhakta leader is, what is it? Where do they learn it from? From some manual, from some paper? Well, that usually doesn't work like this. They have to have an example. Hey, that's what you do. That's how you do it, and then he is doing it. That's what Prabhupada did. He had his Bhakta program. He never called it a Bhakta program, he just did his thing. And everybody picked up and started to do it also. That's actually the essence of the Bhakta program. So we should not slip into these academical fields where we actually create curriculums with no students. It's a worldwide university. Unfortunately, nobody came to learn. But we can show Krishna. We would like to teach you what you said. That we can show. Somebody say, but look today, we have 1 bhakta, 2 bhakta, 3 bhakta, great success. I have one little secret for you, it was always like that. We think, but you know, big is gone. What big? Where big? Yeah, many people came, many people left. Then you boil it down. Already in 1972 or something like that. We made a joke out of this in Germany, because it was panic in Germany. Our German preaching started like, it was a mantra. They teach me, he said, walk down the street. We are monks, we come from India. And we collect for hungry children in India and all this nonsense, you know. The people said, oh, you went to India, that's interesting. And they said, we just go to the West, collect a little bit and go back to India. That was the image we emanated. There was not like a missionary profile. And so, well, actually they were cool. They even accommodate us in a priest houses. Every night we were sleeping overnight in some priest, place. Catholic or Protestant, doesn't matter. Yeah, but then they realized they're kind of not going back to India. And they are becoming more. They collect members. And then the thing came up. Somebody started to get worried. What about if this goes on? And then this German word Sektengefahr came out. It's the danger of the sects. They created even a special Protestant church, created a special division for that. Something like KGB or something like this to investigate about the sects and warn people. Watch out! And we made a joke out of it. We were still basically all together on Sankirtan. We were maybe 25 devotees, maximum. And we asked people on the street, they said, the big sect. And we were the real prototype, the first real sect, because we were dressed like this, the change of life was so radical. So they could only explain with brainwashing. Normal person doesn't change so quickly like this. So they asked our job people, how many do you think that there's Hare Krishna? How many Hare Krishnas are in Germany? Nobody went below 5,000. Nobody. And we were 25 devotees. Of course, traveling up and down Germany like mad. 1,000 kilometers a week was normal. So they were thinking, They told me, you have a place in Würzburg. I met you yesterday. I met your members in Würzburg. Well, it was the same Sankirtan party, you know. They didn't even recognize they talked to the same person. They said, they are everywhere, and it's growing. They're everywhere. You know, there was this panic came up. And finally the court case came, and the real numbers came on the table. Even the judge was there. Let's take it easy. Even the chief prosecutor was still pumping this. You have to save Germany from Hare Krishna, the second Gefahr. The judge was like, okay. He looked at the bench where all the accused ones were sitting, you know, and he saw this shaved devotees. This was many hours sitting there. You have to listen to that garbage, you know, accusation, defense, and you have to sit there. So devotees brought their lunch bags. And they start to distribute cookies, you know, to the judge and to everybody, and to the press. There was press also present, and the press actually renamed Hare Krishna as the cookie monsters, because they always distributing prasadam cookies, you know. And then, I mean, the whole court is like, if I would give you details of this, it turned into just that. Besides the fact that there was really heavy, dangerous propaganda, and they took 800,000 Deutschmarks, confiscated. It turned out to be actually a farce, a complete joke, you know. And the judge knew it. He knew it. He was like more and more assuming the attitude like, can we get this over? This is really nonsense. The court case lasted for 3 years because the prosecution came up with new evidence, and they have to go, you know. It's like bureaucratic or saying, but the judge was like, come on, let them go home and chant them. It's 20 people, you know, and we have a court case for 3 years and whole Germany is in danger. It's like, I saw the judge, he was actually a nice guy, because we follow Prabhupada's instruction. He said, before he reads all our books, he should not make a judgment. So we gave him the whole set, and he did read the book. Even during the procedure, under the table, like in a school. And he became so absorbed that as the chief prosecutor was explaining, you know, the new dimension of this sect danger, what it can do to the German nation. And actually these people are terrorists, we should understand, because same time there was a kind of terroristic groups coming up, so he wanted to make a connection with that. Suddenly the judge, you know, I see that man always look, I was thinking he's looking at his papers, but no, he looked under, and then he had the teaching of Lord Chaitanya. And, you know, and suddenly he just, in the middle of the whole thing, he goes, turning to the devotees, he goes, what does it actually mean, Atmarama? Immediately, then devotees, I can explain. Imagine, middle of the court case. We had a fantastic lady who was our defendant. She was going, she never saw anything like this. And immediately, 10 devotees, and the prosecutor flipped out. He said, do we have to hear this crap in the middle of this procedure? And the judge said, quiet, sit down. I want to know what these people are teaching. I want to know what they are doing. You know, and immediately, 1 hour lecture on Atmarama, you know. And the prosecutor, he was such a demon, he was a real demon, you know. And then the next day, something else happened, like, and then suddenly the judge goes, you know, you have, here we have by police, in police report was, that they all sell the books on the basis of some, collect money on the basis of some mantra. They got even, you know, they got recordings from Sankirtan meetings and everything. But they couldn't understand the language. The police report was that the secret code word for the sect is Haribol. It was in the police report. And it was just, the devotees just rolling on the floor. Yeah, Haribol, okay. And then the judge asked, you know, there's always, that you, before you go on the street, they teach you some mantra. What is the mantra? And immediately, 10 hands came up. I can explain. Yes, please, can you explain what is the mantra? Well, it's Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and a whole lecture about the Maha Mantra, and the prosecutor was going nuts again, you know. And then we had every day something else came up. I was not every day there, I was going for 3 years, but occasionally I had to appear too. And it was hilarious. It was like, and then the judge you know, what is actually the principles you follow? Oh yeah, 4 bloody principles. I was all lecture about that. You know, it was just devotees turning the whole thing my way around. They were just giving lectures right every day, you know. And the prosecutor has to sit and he has to shut up, you know, he has to listen, and he cannot leave. So he was like, he was known actually one of the biggest playboys and debauchees in the city of Frankfurt. He looked exactly like Hiranyakasha, just the teeth and thing. Kind of oily, demonic glare, you know. And he had a little sports car, and he was always chasing ladies the whole night, you know, downtown Frankfurt. He was known for that. So he was a real demon. Anyway, the whole court is. What did Prabhupada say? He said, pray to Lord Nrsimha that it will be okay. That was the whole comment on the whole issue. But it was dangerous. I mean, if Prabhupada would, there was a warrant on Prabhupada, would come at that time to Germany, they would put him in jail. So, you know, it was very demonic. But still, where is it today? Where is it today? Even in Germany, hardly anybody remembers. There are still people coming up saying, this Schlossrettershof, that was a temple. You have this? But they cannot make any more the connection to the present existence of the devotees. Because also the devotees also learned how to behave themselves better, you know? Because it was not an accident, this police marched in the door. I'm actually retrospectively amazed they came so late. Because what devotees used to do in the name of Sankirtan on the street was nothing what Denmark was all, or Scandinavia was all. Here, this place, is exceptionally peaceful. A little bit too peaceful. You never had a ferocious newspaper propaganda. You never had some big opposition coming up. I'm glad for the journey. I saw fascism at its best. You know, and that wakes you up. And these demons are here, right now in Denmark. They are here. Extremely demonic, you know, structure. But they covered people so nicely, and they pay them, and they amuse them into Sanskarification in such a way that people say, well, that's not bad. You know, I still have my beer, can buy myself a big TV, and watch, you know, what they are doing in the TV. You know, completely cover them up. And we are very free people. We can dance in a shopping street in Copenhagen naked. I mean, look, no problem. That's freedom. You know, the dog is naked, I'm naked, it's sunshine, dog has sex, I have sex, no problem. It's great. I mean, isn't life nice? After all, we are recognized internationally as a nation of the happiest people on this planet. Especially when you have a good doctor and he gives you the right pills. You know. This is such an illusion. This makes preaching difficult. Preaching in a country where everybody has a, you know, here scar from the last bullet, which the impact, you know. You know, and the father was shot, you know, and the mother raped, and, you know, just 10 years ago. So this is where you can preach more. That doesn't mean actually there are too many devotees joining, but people are more aware. They are alert that things can change any minute. Any minute it can be back again. So this is the nature of this world. But when you came together with Prabhupada, it didn't matter.